Hello there. Hi. Okay, so if you've been following me, you've been seeing the last few videos I've done about toxic relationships, and I am developing a in time live um, teaching around ending toxic relationships. Um, So as I just said, the last few videos are currently public, but soon they will not be public. If you want to sign up for this ending toxic relationships course, feel free to comment, and I'll see what I can do for you. But um, I want to kind of briefly get you up to speed at this point in the process, um, so that you understand in the rest of this video what I'm talking about. All right, so there is a person in my workplace who I used to consider a friend. And at this point, I have made the choice to not be a friend with this person. But at the same time, I still have to work with this person. It had been discovered that this person had done some very, very questionable behavior, has been doing some very questionable things to me and other coworkers, and I don't feel comfortable continuing a personal relationship with this person, and I am working to reestablish a professional relationship. Now, this person seems not to understand the difference between personal and professional, and it has become very problematic. And as I knew I was going to be making this choice, I started to think I need to document this process, because I know there's lots of people out there that know that they're in situations that don't benefit them, and it doesn't make them feel appreciated. It doesn't make them feel cherished. It does not give them life to be in a relationship of that nature. And there is a way to try to end that relationship and still honor that other person. So that's where it does get sticky. Now, the other party, because they're toxic and unhealthy, of course, is going to might be uncomfortable for a short, I hope, short amount of time. And that's kind of where a lot of people are afraid of confrontation, afraid of really and truly standing behind their boundaries. And this is my hope that this teaching and this coaching will provide a lot of people with. Because, yeah, I'm going through it too. And I have nothing against this person, but I am just finding that I can no longer be a personal associate slash friend with this person. I can be professional around this person, but like I said, it seems like this person does not have the boundaries enough to do that. And I'm going to give you more information. So I had a meeting with my bosses on Thursday. Let me give you the timeline. So, day before, she crossed the boundary very distinctly and clearly that I made in a meeting with her in it. She was sitting no less than 6 feet away from me when I was saying these things, and she was nodding her head. It seemed like she was listening. After the meeting, went to somebody else and inquired She wondered who I was talking about. So she heard the words of my request to keep her a distance in general to a lot of people in that room. She heard it. She even inquired after the meeting to somebody else, I wonder who she's talking about. But she heard it. Okay? Roughly 2 weeks later, on a Wednesday, she made a choice to cross that boundary again. I already put up a video about it. And so when I went to bed that evening, I honestly, again, still didn't have very much agitation per se, but no, I had agitation. Let me take that back. So some agitation around why she keeps doing these things. And because something else also happened, so you'd have to watch the other video. So she did 2 things that day that was just kind of very highly questionable and unethical, borderline illegal-ish, okay? So I went to bed, you know, I don't want to say neutral, but definitely just kind of like, I don't understand. And so when I woke up the next morning, I had the clarity, the downloads, the insight to, you know what, like at this point in time, to protect myself, because I thought I made it clear about my boundaries, is to go to my bosses and to talk about it. And so that is what I did on that Thursday. We had, I believe, a meaningful talk. I was able to divulge all the facts that I knew, and also talked about my fears and concerns, and, you know, let the chips fall as they may. So the bosses were very appreciative to get this insight, because they had no idea that it was like a long-term-ish kind of thing, almost a year. And not just with me, but with other people. So I kind of had to build the case of, I find that this person's professionalism highly, highly questionable and dangerous. So they said that they would have a discussion with this person, and that was Thursday afternoon. Friday afternoon, they did have that meeting with that person. The reason why I know is because that person left that meeting, walked down the hallway to my classroom, and pulled out my coworker and asked her, how do I know all this information about her, when she was making a lot of the things that she was doing very public and obvious. My coworker did not tell me that, by the way. This person is, as they say, messy, so messy that she doesn't realize how many people know of the things that she has done. And she makes it plain. And of course, other people are going to talk about it, because what she has done had been so unethical. But yet, that was her only concern. Who told me? Nobody had to tell me. I keep hearing it all over the place. I didn't want to believe it when I first heard it. And then I keep hearing it from other people. Then, yeah. And because what she has done is so unethical. And the thing is this, I would not have even divulged that thing that she had done had she not on Wednesday continued to violate my boundary. So if you are finding yourself in a situation where people are violating your boundaries and they keep doing it, you have to stand firm. Yes, it can be highly emotional. Yes, it can be scary. But if you are trying to live a peaceful, authentic life, you have to do this for yourself. You have to honor yourself. Okay? And and I've said this even to my employers, my bosses, is that I'm mortified at this person that she is not the person that she claims to be, and that makes me very afraid. So part of a lot of the things that I'm coaching is not to point fingers at somebody, is that you really do have to frame it when you bring it to people who can actually make some changes for you. Frame it in a way for what you need. Okay? What you need. Now, had she had not violated any of my boundaries, I might not have been in a meeting with my bosses on Thursday. So, yeah. And not only that did she do that, and that's how I know, because she literally, their office is down the hall. She works across the hall from me. We have a big glass window door. She came straight, made a beeline straight for my space, knocked on our door, finally, and lured out my coworker and started like pummeling her with questions about, well, how did she find out, and all this and that and all this, and the other. That's what happens when you gossip, and that's what happens when you violate people's privacy and then gossip about it. Yeah, people will know. It's toxic. And then she further, I know this because again, the information got back to me the same day on Friday. As she's leaving, she know her personality. So she and talked to somebody else on her way out the door, saying that she was pulled in a meeting because Monica told on her. I don't know how much more she told that other person, but yeah. And that was all in a span of 20-ish minutes, 20 to 45 minutes. So toxic people will continue to be toxic, y'all. Okay? Like now, real accountability is in play. Real accountability is in play. All I ask is that my boundaries be respected, and she chose not to do that. And so I have to step it up. It's like, we're not going to be like, oh, well, she's just this. No, this is how, I'm sorry, whatever your political affiliations are, this is not about, politics, but this is how Trump got as far as he did in doing the things that he has been doing. Because people keep saying, oh, well, that's him. It's okay. It's his personality. But that's not okay. That's not okay to violate people's boundaries. And you have every right to your boundaries. Now, yeah, in the end, they still have a choice. Because toxic people act like they don't have choice. That's why they act toxically. That's why they act the way that they do. They feel like, I don't have a choice. They made me do this. But that's not true. People in the spiritual world come to realize that we all have choice for everything, really. You have a choice. You have a choice. I'm not making her respect my boundaries. I did give her the opportunity to do it, and it seemed like she chose not to, and now there's a consequence behind that also. I'm not letting it slide anymore because it's dangerous. And you don't have to explain it to that person because they don't want to hear it. They don't see it until real consequences occur. Maybe over this weekend, this person will let that sink in, or maybe it won't. Maybe that person will find yet another person to turn this she's a victim of, and that's where you have to be careful with your language. You have to be careful with how you present yourself. And you are working to sever and reestablish boundaries with people. You really have to be super careful, because they will take any little thing and find a way to make it about them and about you doing something to them, so they don't have to be accountable. And that's something that a lot of people don't work on for themselves. Not just setting the boundary, but maintaining the boundary and sitting firm in it. You deserve it. You deserve to have your boundaries respected. And again, have the consequences happen as they may. A lot of people do have these insecurities around, well, what will people say? What will people think? They think I'm a mean person. I'm a bad person. So it's okay for people to step all over you so that they think that you're a nice person. That's not okay. That's what I'm saying. This person can frame it any kind of way she tries to at this point, but I'm just standing behind the facts. She also has an open invitation, because in my meeting, they did ask me if I'm willing to meet with that person and talk about it. And I said, yes, I am. And believe it or not, anything that I will say in this meeting is not something I haven't had this conversation with her before when we were friends. You see what I'm saying? It's like she has been told about, just various things in her life that didn't have to come to this, that would have prevented any of this coming to this. But she doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to hear it. So, yeah, this will be if she chooses, but if she also chooses to continue to try to find a way to make it about her being a victim, she's most likely, again, going to come back into the workplace and find any available ear to tell her story on how she is a victim yet again. This is a person that will also immaturely make comments because she's not a mature person, even though she's in her 40s. Make comments to try to dig at people, to charge them, and again, try to be manipulative to get people to do things and say things so that she can get victimized and use it as a weapon. But we don't do that here. So I already know her game, because like I said, I've known her for several years, and I know exactly how this will work and play out. She will try. It will probably get even more nasty than, in my opinion, not really nasty. Maybe she just needs to get over her embarrassment and exposure, because she has now been exposed as a toxic person to the people that it matters most of us do. It's not like people didn't know in the workplace. And what's the biggest, absurdity is that she keeps pretending to be like this other kind of person in front of the bosses so that she can just be like, well, see, I'm inclusive, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, and I'm that. And she's really not. She's really not. And now she's, like I said, she's been exposed to the people that it matters to most when it comes to that paycheck. Okay. And when it comes to legal issues at this point, because as I said, the things that she had done are unethical, if not illegal. And nobody said anything for months and months and months. And to me, now I'm looking at all the people around her. I was like, did nobody tell her? I think somebody, one or two people did go to her, tell her it wasn't okay what she had done. However, the severity of what she had done, like, she literally has opened up not just her, but all of her coworkers to some dangerous things. And she wasn't thinking about that. All she cared about was what she wanted. And she claims to care about people, and she doesn't. She doesn't even care about herself. And that's the danger of a toxic person. They don't even care about themselves. So I'm going to, end this very soon. But yeah, toxic people don't even care enough about themselves. That's why they are toxic. And they will continue to do what they want and think that they are being justified in doing until somebody stands firm in their boundaries. Unemotional, because again, that's fuel for them to just go ahead and say, well, see, I am a victim. But they're not. They're not a victim. They're not a victim. So I hope that you sign up for the teachings from the beginning. A lot has happened, so I've had to make several videos, almost 1 and 2 a day at this point, because the things keep happening. But I think it's super important for people who are looking to end toxic relationships. They need to know that some of this stuff is to be expected and not to give up when you care enough about yourself and your peace that you really do have to be firm, and you really have to be as prepared in advance for the thing that will be thrown at you, that will be charged at you, that will be triggered at you, because they're looking for fuel to continue their toxic behavior around you, near you, on you, to abuse you. And you don't have to engage. And yeah, and this is what it looks like. So I am also now going to prepare for having a conversation with people who, because this person is so messy, like I said, she literally, but on her way out the door, even work, had already talked to at least 2 people in the building. And like, I guess she hasn't learned at all yet, Maybe some hours and some days will give her a moment to let it sink in or something. I don't know. But I am now going to prepare myself for other slightly messy people coming up to me, making comments, asking questions. And what I am going to say is that I don't feel safe in the workplace. Please go to that person and ask why. Yeah. So I'm just going to read back to that person. Again, gear it to you. Don't tell them what that person did. That's not your concern. If somebody comes to you, come at you, like, how can you do that? It's like, I feel in the workplace. I feel unsafe. I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable. And refer them back to that toxic person, because they know. They already know. No defense. See, in the moment that you start saying, like, well, they do it, no, don't do it. I know we have that compulsion, okay? I know we have that compulsion to kind of want to do that and justify why. You don't owe anybody an obligation to a reason why you want your boundaries respected. You can just say, you know what, I don't feel safe. I don't feel respected. I don't feel listened to. Go straight to the unpeeling of the events, but go straight to the heart of it all. And firm in it. Okay? So again, that will be my plan. That will be my plan for any other person that comes to me that is not involved in this situation. Because what, like I said, this is not new to this toxic person. They're trying to make a case to make themselves a victim so that they can get all this attention and all this other stuff. I'm not trying to demonize this person. I'm just asking them to respect my boundaries. And then they didn't. And so a consequence happened. All consequences happen. You don't have to like the consequence. It happens. I just want my peace. So, and with that, yeah, that is my plan moving forward. Always be prepared for what might happen, but don't harp on it. You might have to write it down on paper. I've already, in another video, I've mentioned what my plan is if she chooses, because again, it has been my understanding that an offer to have a meeting with myself and her, supervised, of course, be had. And so I've already started my draft of what I would like to happen in the future. So that's what you can work on and not harp on like what people might think of you and what is she out there saying. Like, I kind of don't care at this point. I care about me. I care about my peace. I care about my safety. So you really, again, double down on the things that you want and need and set that boundary. Prepare for, like, again, the messiness of others, because we live in this weird toxic world where people enjoy messy and they think it's normal, but it's not. It's so not normal. It's not. And it's not okay. You're not a bad person to want peace in your life. You're not a bad person to want boundaries respected. Okay? And that's all I want to say to that. I got things to do. It is Saturday morning. Like I said, a lot of this is happening so much that, yeah, I have to, document this. And I hope that I can help more people with this. And I'm not as hurt because I've done inner work, and again, that's part of doing some inner work for yourself, knowing that this is what you need. Some people who may not be doing inner work and try to do this might not be successful. We'll say that. So it is super important that you're doing some inner work and or getting some therapy around this also. So please don't try this if you have not prepared yourself well. Okay. But yeah, care enough about yourself. No, say take care there. Okay. I'll leave this up for a bit. But yeah, sign up if you're interested. Make a comment if you're interested in the teachings. Okay. Bye. Take care.